Welcome back to Reef and Pond Wise. Today's an exciting day. We have our fish that are swimming to the surface. So today's video is going to be about taking care of inspecting your fish and making sure that everything is good after a long winter hibernation, and to see how well the fish know their pond keeper. So let's get started. So the first thing that I like to do is come to the pond and see if there's any movement, and it looks like there's some movement, pretty good movement here. So what I'm going to do now is throw just a few pieces of small koi food into the pond and see if any of the fish come up for it. Now while they're doing that and I step away for a moment, ooh, they are coming up, I am going to turn off the aeration. I keep saying aeration, it's aeration, folks. And my pond de-icers. I'm also going to turn on the waterfalls and get some water movement going. I think I'm going to wait for that until I inspect these fish. And here we go. So yes, they are coming up. They are taking some food. These are very small pieces of food. You don't want to overfeed in the spring. The purpose of this exercise is really to inspect the fish. So it looks to me like everything is good. What you're looking for is any signs of parasites, any signs of fin rot, any redness on the fish, any eye discoloration or fog around the eyes. Now guys, if somebody in the audience here was at my pond, the fish probably would not come up. But the fish know me, they know me well. I'm out here, all the time with them. So it's important to realize that you got to know your fish, and your fish have to know you. So I'm extremely excited about what I see. As you can tell, the water's a little murky, but it's exactly what you want to see. In a future video, probably within the next couple of days, I'll share with you how to get started for the spring, what I do to keep the algae in check. But just so everybody understands, and I think there's a big misconception out there about pond keeping, algae's your friend, guys. Algae is good for a pond. It's good for this ecosystem. Now, what's going to happen before I start feeding these guys consistently, and I probably won't do that until the water temperature gets a consistent 50 degrees or above, is to watch how they start annihilating this algae, including and not limited to this algae that's on the pond walls. Because what's going to happen is they're going to eat the algae and suckle on it, and that's going to give you a great indication as to when you can start looking at feeding your koi. So one of the most important things when you're keeping a pond is to keep in mind not only the well-being of the fish, but the ecosystem itself. So there's 5 things that I normally look out for when I'm opening the pond for the first time during the spring. One is monitor your water temperature. It's extremely important to don't get over anxious, take it slow, don't throw a bunch of food in the pond as soon as you feed the fish. You saw how little fish food I threw in the pond moments ago, just to get them up where I can inspect them and look at them, make sure that they're good. The other couple of things is treat the water in the pond as a whole. In other words, don't do one thing and overlook another thing. If you're going to treat the pond as a whole. So I've got this side, which the majority of the fish are hibernating on this side for various reasons. I've had those aeration units going all winter, and I've also had the de-icers going. Now on this side, there's no fish, but they love to swim underneath, back and forth, underneath this bridge. Once they get moving around quite a bit, a lot of these fish will dart from one side of the pond all the way under the bridge, all the way to the other side of the pond. It's a lot of fun to watch. The other thing is activating your filtration. That's a primary focus for this time of the year. And your pond cleaning. So what I'm going to do, probably weather permitting, the next couple of days or over the weekend, is I will go ahead and start cleaning the pond. The first thing I will do is get my pond vac out and vacuum the pond, and that'll stir up some of the remnants of whatever leaves did get in over the time that I took the netting off and what's in there now. It was pretty clean the other day. If you didn't have an opportunity to see my video from a couple of days ago, go check it out. It's pretty good. So I did have a question about removing the pond support netting, and the reason I did that is because I decided that I'm not going to put up the netting in the meantime here while I'm opening the pond, because I'm going to be too busy out here. And I think the water is just dark enough where I don't have to worry about predators. But I got the next best thing to throw in the pond to help keep the ducks away and the predators. And that is my trusty alligator decoy. So I'll let him float in the pond. I put him in there every year. He's kind of cool. But what that does is it helps as a decoy to help the birds stay away. It's done a good job of actually keeping the blue heron out. But yeah, the last thing you want to do is have ducks come in the pond and contribute to poor water quality. So yeah, it's looking good. Excited about the next steps. Oh, by the way, I did find out, I think it was you, Mike, that had asked on opening the pond and why the ducks came. I found out that my decoy was turned over, didn't even notice. A lot of times these decoys, this one is a blue heron, or actually it's a stork. When you set these up, it helps keep ducks and the blue heron away, because they're very territorial. So they don't like to see any shape of any other kind of species and bird near the pond. Hence is why I put in the alligator. So looking good. I haven't seen anything on the koi fish. They all look fantastic. After investigating, oh, there you go. What do you call an alligator if I threw a vest on him? An investigator. I don't know where that came from. Probably because I'm investigating the koi. But yeah, very, very exciting. Now, what I'm going to do, because of the water is not moving, and the last thing you want in a pond, especially this time of the year when the sun is beating down on the water, is to have stagnant water. So I'm going to go ahead and turn the aeration back on. And I'm going to start the waterfalls so I can at least get some water flowing. And guys, this won't stir up the water enough where it'll be murky, where I can't see to the bottom when I start vacuuming. That'll be the next video, by the way. So look forward to next steps in cleaning and getting the pond ready for complete opening in the spring. I like to take it a little bit at a time and not do too much. It's relaxing a little bit more for me if I can do certain things at certain times. And keep in mind that there's all kinds of different things that need to happen. So not only do I not want to stir up the water so that I can see the bottom when I'm cleaning it via the pond vac, I want to keep the oxygen flowing for the fish. Hence is why you want to have the aeration during the winter. So that's got some good flow. Later on, during the late spring, early summer, we'll put some pond plants in the bog pond up there. And by the way, that second tier waterfall is also active. There will be water flowing from that top shelf down into the bog pond before it hits the pond. And that'll be for filtration and nutrients to be broken down in that bog pond. So I'll be doing a separate video on that as well. So let's go over here. We'll activate. See if we can get this plugged in. Yep. So we got two of the water features that are turned on now. Fish are looking good. I didn't see anything that's alarming. I will tell you that in the next couple of days, as I'm working through the process, I will put pond salt, a half dose of pond salt, mineral salt, in the water. And that's just to ensure that there's no growth of parasites or anything that could penetrate their slime coat after being in the water all winter long. So guys, if you liked this video, please tap that subscribe button, send me a like, and hit the notification bell so that you can see the next videos on how I continue to open up my pond for the spring. So remember guys, anybody can build a pond, but it takes somebody special to keep a pond. And that someone special is you.